Welcome to Time Mastery for Marketing Agency Owners 104, Nighttime Routines and the Power of Sleep. And if you've followed on this journey for the last few episodes, we've really just kind of dove deep into time mastery and really what my marketing agency clients on a one-on-one basis have really been doing in order for them to carve out 8 to 10 hours per week for them to work on the business, removing all distractions, really having it to where they're kind of like this professional athlete running the entrepreneurship marathon, and really getting to the point where now we are at nighttime routines. We've already covered carving out the time, eliminating things, delegation. We've gotten into things where we're actually looking at your time throughout the week and giving some raw data. And now we're going to use that and really optimize your nighttime routine. And this really leads towards the power of sleep. If you think about, there's a large part of your week that's based around kind of rejuvenation and kind of getting some clarity. And when you don't really have good sleep, it's hard for you to focus on things like vision and growth and like long-term decisions and goals and how you're going to meet them, because ultimately sleep is one of the main things. So we're going to walk through a series of different steps in order for you to really optimize your nighttime routine and really get the most out of your sleep in order for you to become the CEO, the visionary of your company through this. So in the previous modules, you've gotten to understand how important a weekly time log is. We've carved out your 8 to 10 hours during your work week to work on the business. And now you have some data when it comes to sleep. So if you've not done those, previous kind of resources and worksheets, please go back and do those. But once you get to this point, you can look at how much sleep you're actually getting. So if you go into the tracker right now and you just go find sleep, you can take that number, whatever that is, 88, that'd be every half an hour. And 88, so it'd be 44 hours. This is not a good example of getting good sleep, but it can show you some patterns, right? I'm going to sleep at 12:30, and then the other day 12 o'clock, and then 4 in the morning, and kind of like that. And, in this case, and you've probably, if you've seen the other videos, you've heard me talk about the Twitter example and, how one of my clients, I've removed their name and stuff like that, but one of my clients was actually checking Twitter multiple times throughout the week. And when we removed that, it was replaced by gaming, and then we removed that, and then he was able to really have better sleep and everything. And power of sleep. So basically, sleep is kind of like your rejuvenation period. It gives you a lot of clarity to be able to get the sleep that you're looking for, that you need. And what you need to do, the first step to optimizing your nighttime routine, is really to analyze your weekly time log, determine your current nighttime routine. So if this was yours, you can type in sleep like this, and you can determine not even going to sleep in this case, and not even going to sleep before midnight. And then that leads towards inconsistency within the morning routines. And then within here, did the sleep get better? Sleep got better after we removed Twitter, but still was based around gaming. So if you see what's happening, even using from week 1 to week 2, my client was able to start to optimize. But if you just type in sleep in the find, you should be able to understand the number of hours that you're getting each night currently. Now, from that, if you want more data, so this is a route that I went. It's not necessarily it's not necessary in order for you to keep on moving forward and optimizing your routine. But if you're a data person, then AuraRings are actually really good. I have mine as well. And you can go to auraring.com, like auraring.com, and they have a brand new one that also optimizes a couple of things. But what it allows you to do is have a score of sleep, readiness, and performance or activity. And each one of those scores gives you some data. And also, I have included a thing called a whole self-optimization tracker, which ultimately, if you fill this out in the previous ones based around your daily deposits and the 4 dimensions of living, which I believe is 103, so the one previous to this, then there's other parts to this, which is like a performance rating, readiness score, and a sleep score. And these percentages kind of tell you if you're optimizing your sleep. So the Oura Ring also gives you some data. So once you're actually in it, it'll give you some data on these percentages. So the readiness score of 91% or 85%. And what this allows you to do is basically measure through a quantifiable result whether or not you're improving your readiness, so kind of like your optimized mental state, your sleep score, how well did you get your sleep, and then activity is like how much are you moving around, really are you optimizing your body in all the other ways. And you'll start to see how you can optimize based on these percentages the day, your wake time, your work and start and end time. If you're doing some reading, that might be something that you want to track as well. And then the bedtime. Now, anything that's over here in the gray area, that's all calculations. So you just type in your bedtime and your night, your wake up time, and then it'll start calculating your durations and sleep durations and stuff. You can also get that data just directly from Oura Ring, which allows you to kind of export a CSV, and then you can import it if you just switch the formatting. So that's available to you. Now, going back to the nighttime routine. So there are a couple of things, aside from the data here, there are a couple of things. Removing blue lights and screen time 1.5 hours before bedtime. So blue lights are, on your phone, it's TV. It's really anything that you have in front of you that's a screen. So there's been lots of different types of studies centered around removing blue lights from you and before sleep, so that way you can actually have more powerful sleep. So if you look at here, being able to sleep without and going in between, in between times where you're waking up in the middle of the night. A lot of times it's based around getting deeper sleep, and blue lights before bedtime remove the deep sleep. So instead of watching TV at nighttime, switch it with reading in bed. So, if you go to sleep at 10 and you want to make sure that you are removing blue lights by 8:30, what do you do instead of that? You can read in bed. You'll actually get more out of it intellectually, mentally stimulating. You also sleep better because your body or your mind has something to actually kind of consume or digest the information. And being able to do that, it also allows you just to have a better, habit and routine. Now, if you wake up in the middle of the night and have a lot on your mind, try writing down your thoughts and any actions needed to do in the morning so you can go back to sleep. A lot of times, as entrepreneurs, you're trying to juggle a million different things like payroll, and then I got to remember to return this guy's email or whatever it is. And a lot of times that kind of just gets you out of deep sleep. The key is actually just to write down whatever you need, and more importantly, the action that you're going to take when you wake up. And so when you do that, there's a kind of a trust with your mind. You're going, okay, I got it all. And if you didn't get it all, just keep on writing it down until it's all kind of expressed, and then you'll be able to sleep a lot better. The other thing is based around planning tomorrow today, which basically just means that you don't have to mentally remember everything. So writing down tomorrow, I'm going to, and then starting to go through, all your kind of to-dos and kind of planning the day before, so that way you can wake up and execute. Also allows you to have a lot more power and kind of trust in the next day, as opposed to trying to figure out what else you can do during the day. And then going to sleep at the same time every night is another way of being able to kind of get your body to get used to the nighttime routine, and also know when you can get into that cycle of sleep. A lot of times if we have variation in and inconsistency of when we go to sleep, it'll also make it so it's harder for us to have the duration of sleep be consistent. And your body just needs, at least 7 hours of sleep every night. Some people have a little bit less, and their bodies are used to 6 hours and things like that. But the range for the most people, about 90% of people or so, is between the 7 hours and the 9 hours. Anything more than 9 hours, it's a pretty rare that you're actually getting a lot more out of additional time, but between 7 and 9 is good. And then really this whole kind of process of optimizing a nighttime routine and really time management in general, you need to experiment to find the best ways of increasing the quality of your sleep. So again, like I said before, it's not really based around the total number of hours for sleep, but the depth of sleep and really the quality of the sleep that you get. Now, having an Oura Ring allows you to be able to use, measures and very specific numbers behind all this. So you don't have to remember to write it all down in your tracker. You can just export the CSV and put it in. But really, experimentation is going to be the way to optimize your nighttime routine. A couple other things that add towards getting better sleep is really based around removing sugars. So not having that sugary beverage or, that dessert at, 9 o'clock at night or something. And then also removing caffeine and alcohol after a certain period of time or entirely. And so those are really kind of the main nighttime routines and ways of optimizing your sleep patterns that I've found through myself and also with my clients that are also doing this as well. Be interested in hearing your thoughts on what has helped you have a really good nighttime routine and really optimizing your sleep. Is there something that I'm missing in here? If so, let us know. And I look forward to talking with you in the next video.